Have you ever felt a shiver run down your spine for no reason at all? Like the air around you knew a secret you didn't? That's the feeling Lady Mary had the first time she saw Mr. Fox. He was handsome, elegant, his velvet coat dark as midnight, his smile warm enough to melt the frost. But in the deepest corner of her heart, something whispered, "Be careful." Lady Mary lived in a grand stone house surrounded by rolling green hills. Wildflowers swayed in the wind, and the distant forest whispered in green shadows. She was the youngest in a bustling family of brothers, but unlike them, she preferred quiet corners, mysteries, and stories told in hushed voices while the wind howled at the shutters. When Mr. Fox came to visit, he charmed everyone. He told tales of faraway cities lit with golden lanterns, of ships that sailed into sunsets, and of the great castle where he lived. One evening, with all her brothers watching, he asked for her hand in marriage. The whole household rejoiced, all except Mary. She smiled politely, but inside, that small, cold voice warned her again. A few days later, as they sat together by the fire, Mr. Fox leaned close. "When you come to my castle," he said, "you may explore every room, every hall, every tower, but—" his eyes glittered like glass. "You must never open the iron door at the end of the long corridor." Mary tilted her head, pretending to be curious but not too curious. "And why not?" He only smiled. "Some doors aren't meant to be opened." That night, Mary lay awake in her bed, staring at the moonlight spilling through the window. If there was one thing her curious heart could never resist, it was a locked door. The very next morning, while her brothers hunted in the woods, she saddled her horse and set out alone. Mist clung to the ground as she rode through twisting paths until she found it, Mr. Fox's castle, hidden deep in the forest, wrapped in ivy, like a secret. The gates stood open. The heavy oak doors groaned as she pushed them wide. Inside, the air was still. Not a fire burned, not a servant stirred. Yet everything was perfect. Tapestries hung smooth, silver goblets gleamed, and the floors shone as if waiting for guests. Her footsteps echoed down the corridors until she reached it. The iron door. A faint red stain marked the floor beneath it, dark against the marble. Her breath caught. Slowly, she placed her hand on the cold metal handle. It turned without a sound. The room beyond was dark, smelling of damp stone, and something sharp, metallic. As her eyes adjusted, her heart lurched. Bones, piles of them, tangled with torn gowns and rusted jewelry. The empty eyes of skulls stared back at her. Against the far wall hung a fresh white wedding dress. It looked as though it had been waiting for her. Before she could move, she heard it. Hoofbeats in the distance. Mr. Fox was coming home. She slipped out of the room, closing the door as gently as she could. But as she crossed the hall, her foot struck something cold. A severed hand. Its stiff fingers still clutched a golden ring. Mary swallowed hard and slid the ring into her pocket. Then she ran. Down the stairs, through the gates, into the safety of the forest. She didn't stop until her home's chimney smoke curled against the sky. That night, Mr. Fox came calling, handsome and smiling, with roses in one hand and a velvet box in the other. Mary accepted his gifts with perfect politeness. At supper, her family gathered around the table. Laughter filled the air, but Mary's eyes never left Mr. Fox. When it was her turn to speak, she leaned forward. "I had the strangest dream last night," she said. "I dreamed I rode alone through the forest and found a beautiful castle. In my dream, I wandered its halls until I came to a locked iron door. And when I opened it," she paused, letting the candlelight flicker across her face. "I saw bones. The bones of young women. Some wore gowns, some wore jewels." The table fell silent. Mr. Fox gave a soft laugh. "Just a dream, my love." "Yes," Mary said sweetly. "But in my dream, I tripped over a hand, a woman's hand. and on that hand was a ring. She reached into her pocket and drew out the ring, holding it up so the gold gleamed cold in the candlelight. A ring that looks exactly like this. Mr. Fox's smile crumbled. His eyes darted to the door, but her brothers were faster. They rose with steel in their hands. Mr. Fox tried to flee, but he didn't make it far. Justice came swiftly, and his castle, so the story says, was swallowed by the forest itself. In the years that followed, Mary's tale traveled far and wide. She never forgot the lesson carved into her heart that day. That danger often hides behind the sweetest smiles, that curiosity can save as well as doom, and that the truth is the strongest weapon a person can carry. So if someone tells you never to open a certain door, ask yourself why. And if your heart whispers a warning, listen closely. It just might save your life. Like, comment, and subscribe for more magical tales. And tell me in the comments, if you found a forbidden door, would you open it? Be honest, because sometimes the choice you make in that moment can change your whole story.